Hello everyone, my name's Clay and I've been playing Animal Crossing a lot. Just like many of you I think. So that got me thinking, I want to make a video where we're going to dive into the world of Animal Crossing. But don't see this as a review, no. We are going to look at the geography and other aspects of the world of Animal Crossing. So let's begin. I want to begin by looking at the geography of the towns you play in. Now, not every town in the Animal Crossing games are the same. Animal Crossing on the GameCube features a town with 3 levels with a river going through it. The highest point is the north and with a sandy coast in the south. Moving on to Animal Crossing Wild World on the DS. This game doesn't feature any cliffs, but there's still a river to be seen. In this game you can also find a sandy coast in the south. Animal Crossing City Folk is a game that brings back cliffs, but this time there's only 2 levels to be seen. You could say that the town in City Folk has less relief than Animal Crossing on the GameCube. Can we speculate that the town on the GameCube is located in a more hilly area than the town of City Folk? Maybe. This game also features a sandy coast in the south. Moving on to New Leaf, we see that cliffs are once again removed. Well, not entirely. Besides the old trusty river in the town, the beach this time is not a sandy coast, but a cliff coast. And the cliff coast can be located in the south, but this time also in the west or east of the map, depending which town you choose at the beginning of the game. Finally, we arrive at the latest release, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and this game shakes things up. Your town in this game is located on a deserted island, and it's your job to make it a not deserted island. While this island once again features 3 levels with a river running throughout the island. This time the river splits into 2 directions, and at points where the river meets the ocean can be located in the south, east or west. Finally, being on an island, you would expect that there are beaches in every direction, but that isn't really the case. The sandy coast in this game can be found in the west, south and east, with a little secret beach in the north. Other than that, there is only a cliff coast to be found in the north. Now, as you can see by this little overview, each Animal Crossing town has most of its features in common with each other. The biggest distinction you can make is that the console games, namely Animal Crossing on the GameCube, City Folk and New Horizons, feature different height levels in town, while the handheld games do not. I think this is mostly due to hardware constraints, but for this little video we can say that the towns in the console games are located in hilly or mountainous areas, while the towns in the handheld games are located in the more flatter parts of the land. We know very little of the Animal Crossing world outside of the towns you play in the games, so to say that height difference in the towns in the console games are geographically accurate is difficult to say. But we can point out things that are geographically accurate. Closest to the beach are the lowest parts of the town, and the further you go north, the higher the land gets. Now, New Horizons is a little bit different, because the cliffs on that island can be very close to the beach, on the west and east parts of the island. New Horizons practically has sandy coast and cliff coast on different parts of the island. Now moving on to rivers. In most of the games the rivers come from outside of town and enters the town via a waterfall. This indicates that the water source lays somewhere else and that somewhere is located at a higher elevation than your own town. So this is correct. Also, the water flows from high to low. The river does this by making turns throughout the town, and that's a phenomenon that we see with real rivers. Meandering, we call it. Now, Animal Crossing GameCube is the game where the water stream meanders the least, but it doesn't necessarily make it less geographically correct. The river flows through a town, and people, or should I say people and animals, are known to alter the flow of the river to their liking. So it isn't too far-fetched to argue that the people of the town in Animal Crossing on the GameCube has altered the flow of the river to flow not in a meander pattern, but more straight. A second explanation can be that the river is quite young and hasn't had the time to form large turns. Lastly, I want to focus on the island in New Horizons. On Earth we know of different kinds of islands. They are continental, tidal, barrier, oceanic, coral and artificial islands. Continental islands are like Madagascar and Greenland, separated from the continents due to plate tectonics. The island in New Horizons is much too small for that. We can also discard the tidal barrier in Coral Islands because the island in New Horizons doesn't really fit the characteristics of these kinds of islands. That leaves us with two types left, the oceanic and artificial island types. Firstly, the oceanic island type is formed by plate tectonics, mostly around subduction zones where one tectonic plate slides on another one and melts deep under the ground. The magma rises up and forms new land. The tectonic plates can also divert from each other. When that happens, magma will also rise and erupt out of volcanoes underneath the ocean. Eventually the lava would have built up and rise above the sea level, creating a new island. This happened most recently with the island of Surtsey in Iceland. That island was created in the month of November 1963. Lastly, there can also be a hotspot just underneath the surface. The crust shifts, but the hotspot beneath stays relatively stable, bubbling or rushing up the Earth's mantle and so creating volcanic islands. The Hawaii archipelago was made this way, over millions of years ago. I hear you guys already say that the island in New Horizons can't be an oceanic or volcanic island because we never see lava in New Horizons. And you would be right, but the island in New Horizons could have formed millions of years ago, and the hotspot or magma chamber beneath the island can have cooled down, and that is why we don't see any volcanic activity on the island. Bringing us by the last possibility that the island in New Horizons is an artificial island. It is being offered to you by Tom Nook from Nook Inc. I think there is an argument to be made that Nook Inc. has created all those islands themselves. Tim and Tommy even say in the beginning of the game that every island you can choose from has roughly the same size. This is easier explained if Nook Inc. dig up some sand and spread it somewhere else to create a couple of artificial islands for their getaway package money-making business venture. Tom Nook is a good businessman after all, so I can see him going through such lengths to make some money. Leaving that topic behind, we can also say that every game of the series takes place in the same country, or at least in the same part of the world. In every game the same characters show up, and I don't think that Tom Nook, the Mabel sisters and the other folks travel around the world to settle in a new town once every couple of years. Only New Horizons I can see taking place quite a bit far away from the other games' towns. It would explain why there are so little returning characters thus far in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I want to close off this video by looking at the creatures that inhabit the world of Animal Crossing. There are the villages consisting of humans, birds, octopi, dogs, cats, ducks, rhinos and a couple of others. These villagers spend their day mostly by walking around, catching some fish and bugs and selling food. Quite a simple life they live. But the biodiversity that each town shows is simply amazing. In and around the towns of the games you can catch all different kinds of animals, from snapping turtles to tuna, from tarantulas to orchid mantises. Animals from all over the world can be found in each little town in Animal Crossing, and by bringing them to the museum, the wise owl Blathers will gladly, so long you don't bring bugs, tell you about all these wonderful animals. Why some octopi are able to be caught and others to walk around on the tentacles and speak English is a mystery that is better left unresolved. I hope you enjoyed your video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. Have a nice day.